That was about an inch then.
I made it. Now shut up.
Turns that way, that way. No, it's too late. No, you've had it. You've had it. Jump out the... Jump, stop. Hang on. Whoa, whoa. Jump out the car. Oh, right.
The car jerked, sorry.
I reckon you've got a serial killer on your patch.
A classic case for DL and Pascoe.
3 murders, 3 Hamlet phone calls.
The crimes are connected. Educated killer with a complex motive.
Any fool can quote Hamlet. Even me. The last Porter ratio, I knew him well.
Maybe it's time for outside help.
Does your use of a clairvoyant indicate inspiration or desperation?
High flyers.
Suspect's escaping in a glider.
DL and Pascoe. Tomorrow at 8:05 on BBC1.
Growing trees from seed, Alan Titchmarsh shows how it's done in Gardener's World on BBC2 now. Here on BBC1, more red faces and sore bodies. Auntie's showing off her frilly, sporting bloomers.
Thank you. 1,000 thanks. And welcome. This, in case you didn't know it, is Aunties Sporting Bloomers. And for those of you who haven't seen my recent advertising campaign for a well-known clothing manufacturer, my name is Tiger Woods. Okay, I lie. He's a much shorter man than I am. Doesn't hit the ball as far. But this is Aunties Sporting Bloomers, coming to you virtually live and not very exclusively from this malodorous mausoleum of athletic incompetence. A place that contains more bad decisions, errors of judgment and expensive mistakes than John Barnes' wardrobe. So stay tuned and believe me, there's no need to go channel hopping when I can give you a pocket-sized summary of some of the occasional offerings from that strange alien world which we long-term inmates of the concrete donut know only as the other side. For starters, here's news of a shock recruit to the bill. Plus, a romantic revelation from Blind Date.
Finishing in the second half, wasn't there? Yeah, sure. Someone fancies me there, I think.
Of course, we mustn't forget, surprise, surprise!
The guys like a practical joke, don't they?
Now, you might think that incident points to the essential unpredictability of a sport, but as sure as night follows day and Match of the Day follows a TV movie with someone who used to be in Dallas, there are some things you can rely on, as men and women strain every nerve and sinew in the search for sporting glory, because if something is worth doing, it's worth doing badly. And just consider the case of this brave Japanese decathlete, Katsuhiko Matsuro, who came down to earth with a bump, got up to finish. Absolutely nowhere.
She improve upon that with her second ball.
And no, she can't.
Right, down goes Casanova. That shows how hard he was being pushed by Fausto Grissini.
And Jean Damien's going to jump a lay full four, a double twisting, triple back somersault. Oh dear, no. He had far too much air there. Here we see it again, stretching all the way through.
Looks pretty dangerous, but I think he's all right, isn't he?
He's okay, yes.
Now is and this is the Polish rider Piotr Piasecki, fallen in Kostler's Mill.
looking in extension. Good speed.
Well, France at the front here, but they'll be trying to slow the tempo down. Oh, another crash. Look at this. They're going down everywhere. It's like a skating rink now with the rain all over the circuit.
Oh, and the same mistake. Oh, she's gone. The same mistake that Wiberg made coming out of the compression. She sat down, but Street looks to be okay.
The last lap with about 7 or 8 remaining corners, it's going to be a real... Oh, and a big slide there and a problem for number... Oh, and he's down. That just goes to show it's very safe to fall on this part of the circuit. There's plenty of runoff here. I think the rider's possibly winded, but that's all.
What can they make of this? Very steadily, and he's gone completely front legs, and he's completely stuck. And he's got his boot caught in the stirrup. That's going to take some getting out of.
And so he has to reach to get around them. He's looking like he's in trouble here, but still fighting. Oh, good that would have hurt.
Well, he was rather near that ramp, but he's all right. Puts his hand up to see, I'm fine.
Oh, second place then Mick Lofthouse, and there's a faller.
There's young Darren Barton, and he was going to be the surprise and the wild card of the race, but thank goodness he's okay. He's a young rider with a lot to prove, and he's not going to prove it by doing that.
Now, you don't need the likes of me to tell you, there are some jobs in television that only someone truly desperate would take on. But leaving my present predicament aside, my purpose here is to hum a quick chorus of recognition to those hitherto unsung heroes behind the BBC's outside broadcast cameras, those brave bods who don't know the meaning of fear, or common sense, or personal accident insurance. Take this example, which, from where we're sitting, may look like a harmless howdy-doody between a lensman and a long jumper, but watch it from the cameraman's point of view, and it's what you could call a crunch meet.
Warwick leads these two out of the old hairpin. We're with him now, climbing up towards McLean's, doing about 125 miles an hour, down into the right-hander, and he's lost him. Into the crowd trap, into the tire wall, he's broken our camera lens. That'll be £6,000, please, Derek.
In fact, in the NBA, in the American League, that time is only 24 seconds. Nicola for Argentina.
And he's there over the top. Russell along the line to Irwin. Russell, a great chance here. Out there to Crossan. Crossan caught by Underwood. Magnificent saving tackle.
Crossan's a quick lad, but Underwood's got the measuring all the way there, and almost wiped out the cameraman as well on the way there.
Oh, nearly had a St Anton fall as well. Well, now he's got to stop. 10th, he did well, and he hasn't stopped. Dear me. There's a lot of padding there, and extra padding was put in a little earlier on, but it is so difficult to stop. He's up, he's okay. Ugh.
The bruised heel which kept Chris Cairns out of the South Australian match didn't seem to worry him at training today, but the local media did.
I think that they go through all that in all weathers without so much as the consolation of a fisherman's friend on expenses. Now, regular viewers will know the keen Wogan brain is steeped in the lore of the turf. There is nothing surer of sending a thrill through my particular withers than the cry of "to horse, to horse," apart from a glimpse of Gabby Roslin's fetlocks in the BBC canteen. But even the sport of kings can't hide its occasional right royal blunders. Feast your eyes on this nose bag of evidence.
a long way ahead of, in second, Salep, then Canary, Falcon, Tibbs in. The leader's already over the third. Salep landed in second, and then Canary, Falcon, who's under restraint in third from Tibbs in, and waited with in last place is Indrapura. And at the far side, and Indian Crown has completely run off the course there. Forgot to turn right-handed, and she went straight on, and so she's had her moment of glory.
And they're running down towards the third flight. They're worth for that, because I'm afraid we won't even see them jump it. Corby Wood it was when we last saw them. Going down towards the third, with half free, the favourite, John Frankham, in his favourite position on the inside. And here are some horses again.
Fantasy in the front rank as well at the end of the first furlong or so, and Guesper's crept up the inside to take over, followed by just a half length further back to Goretzky. Then comes Comic Fantasy, showing plenty of speed down the stand side with that sheepskin noseband. Then comes Mr. Joel, tucked away behind these with also...
All happy, and they are, and running. These winners of 36 races between them, except, unfortunately, the Papa Major.
And behind these now being chased along is Charter Lane, and dropping off the first two with every stride. And Jolly Boat's now got to the front of the third cup in the race, towards the last in the back straight by a half a length to Brigeen Lady, to go over three from home. And Jolly Boat now full of running, has now got a 2 or 3 lane Brigeen Lady in second place. They're trying to break away these two from Charter Lane. They come round towards the second last, and Jolly Boat staying down with his game, and he's starting to stay much better than the others as they come towards the final of the ditches.
Racing down towards the third from home, Tony McCoy bidding for his 105th winner of the season. The horse comes down the centre of the fence, but he jumps it well, 5 to 7, clear by 4 or 5 lengths. Over the Mine Captain in second. 2 Plush is beginning to make ground on the leading duo, but too late. And racing down towards 2 out, and 5 to 7 is Hanford. He's bolted by the loose horse, who in turn has also bolted the Mine Captain. Here comes 2 Plush, a mile back. It's almost a carbon copy of 67 and Foynehaven, and they're racing down towards the final fence. And 2 Plush, you'd probably rip your ticket up. Go and find it now in the bin. Here's the last, stood off it, well over it well. Luke Harvey takes a look over his shoulder. He can't believe it. He wipes the sleep away from his eyes, and racing up towards the line, a big grin on his face as well.
If you want to know what's what in the world of racing, there's no one better than a man who's one of the true legends of the sport, 5 times champion jockey, winner of 17 classics, including 4 derbies. And I'm indebted to the Sporting Life for perhaps the most memorable description of our hero. Riding his 180th winner of the season, he spent the last 2 furlongs looking over one shoulder and then another, even between his legs. But there was nothing there to worry him. Now, after an accident a few months ago, which was no laughing matter, I'm almost pleased to say he's been restored to a state of health which is not so much rude as very irritating. Please welcome the great Willie Carson. Just a few moments there where things went wrong for a jockey right at the start. Does that happen a lot? Is that the place where the things go wrong?
At the start of a race?
Yeah.
Well, yes, it can go wrong there. I remember years ago at Leicester, many years ago. It's when we had the... you'll remember this.
Of course I'll remember anything that goes back 100 years.
With the elastic gates that went up.
Yeah,
so you must remember that. It was before the stalls. And it was a real miserable day at Leicester, raining. And there was a starter called Colonel Billy Smith. And now, I don't know if he's still alive now, the old boy, but he liked to see jockeys fall. You know, he'd go up the ladder one day and rush and get the handle, and off he'd go. Another day he'd go up there and stand, and everybody would hit the gate. So this day, Leicester, you must remember it's very, very wet. He runs up the ladder, puts his hand out to grab the handle, misses because his foot slips on the rung of the ladder, tips up, all the jockeys go for it. 6 jockeys come off, and the rest took part in the race. Well, normally, he should have gone like that for a false start, but lying flat on his back with his ladder on top of him, he couldn't do it.
But what was the silliest, what do you think's the silliest mistake you've ever made as a jockey?
Oh, dear, right, silliest. Well, I presume that would be going back a few years again. Pontefract. And it was one of those night meetings where the sun was belting down, and at Pontefract you go up a hill and turn into the straight, and it was about a 2 furlong running. So this was a selling race I was riding in for Peter Macon, and I looked round, I could see a shadow, and I could still hear, you know, you can't sort of keep looking round, but I could see a shadow of a horse there, and I could hear the horses, you know, crack, crack, and I thought, oh, there's somebody there, so I kept going, you know. And of course, the nearer I got to the winning line, the harder I would ride, and kept looking at this shadow. Well, when I got past the winning post, I looked round, nobody there. Well, I was racing my own shadow with the sun. That's not the worst of it. It's a selling race. So there's few people had to go in the ring, and of course it went up and up and up. I was not popular.
Not the best, like. I was just thinking, you are always, of course, one of the greatest of all flat jockeys. But you have been seen taking to the jumps. We have pictorial evidence.
Have you?
You like it?
I don't remember that.
But I mean, that's not the only mistake you've made. I mean, you're a supporter of Swindon Town, aren't you?
I'm a director.
I am a director
of Swindon Town.
Even worse. Before we go, what do trainers and jockeys think of the poor old owner? What do they think of owners?
Well, the poor old owner, yes, he's the man that pays all the bills, but he's the sort of man you have to treat like a mushroom. Treat him like a mushroom.
Why is that?
Well, you keep him in the dark as long as you can, and feed him plenty of manure.
Well, thank you very much, and goodbye, Willie Carson. As old Willie heads off for a quick rub down and a reviving lump of sugar, here's a reminder that there are modes of not getting from A to B which carry even more potential for embarrassment than climbing into the saddle. Indeed, I have formulated this fact into Wogan's second law of looking foolish in public, which states that the higher the number of horsepower at your disposal in a televised sporting event, the greater your likelihood of looking a complete and utter dipstick.
But as he headed into the woods around Brantry, he was in for a big surprise. Excuse his French, but Alain wasn't an happy chappy.
The first Forest stage would claim another victim. For Steve Wedgbury in the brand new 1600cc Skoda Felicia, it was a case of a bridge too far.
Marco Allen, the event favourite, also had his first day problems. A roll in Chatsworth in the Lancia, and this mistake conceded the lead to his great World Championship rival, Ewa Kankana.
Then on the day's final stage, he revealed a hidden passion for the long jump. Clearly, there was a side bet between the Finns. Soon after, along came Rovan Pera. More a skip than a jump, it had the same result. His hopes of success in the Pirelli nosedived. It was a sorry sight.
Last year's British Group N champion, Trevor Cathers, made a rare mistake in his Subaru Impreza.
Now remember, when they wrecked this stage a week earlier, the water splash was about 2 feet shallower.
Oh, you...
Suddenly, it all felt a long way from Le Mans. An air intake set too low on the British entered cadet GSIs was scooping water into the engine, forcing the stall, and by the end of the day, forcing retirement.
Last year's Group N winner, Trevor Cathers, has again been a big name in the Group N Production Cup. But his battle for honours with Oli Harkey was to come to a sudden and dramatic end.
It was their first visit to the island, and they were enjoying the scenery. On stage 6, they were about to see more of it. Tapio set off in fine fettle on stage 6. Until this. Co-driver Risto Manison-Mackie was relegated to the rear of the car to balance it, and they dropped to 48.
The Finns slid off in stage 2, and then again in a big way in stage 3. Cutoletto's chance of victory turned on its head. He was a long way from home, but with the help of some newfound friends, the Finn was dragged back on track.
Here to the junction, it's nothing bad. You're okay, go on, go on, go on. That's finished the rally.
Last two unfortunates felt after traumatic buffeting, much like me the morning after the party at this year's Eurovision. Now, you may have realised that since last we were gathered here together, I was cruelly overlooked for Ireland's beach volleyball team at the last Olympics. But looking at this collection of calamities from Atlanta, it's probably just as well I didn't go.
Gold medalist and Olympic champion representing China with new Olympic and world records. What's his name?
$20 seconds to go. Oh. This is where they chased him across the ring, right at the end of the round. Oh. Well, that's ridiculous.
Well, now it was some lighting inside the Georgia Dome, and this is a very embarrassing moment for the organisers. The highlight, if I can call it that, of the opening day of competition in the Olympic Games, the event which everybody has been talking about here in Atlanta, and the lights have gone out.
Something has come into the ring. I think somebody's cup protector seems to have come out. I've seen gum shields come out. I've never seen this before. I've got to say.
Good commitment to the balance. The first gymnast we've seen really hold that.
And in lane number 6 for the Ukraine, Vodomir Nikolayachuk. Lane 7 for Greece, Panigotius Adamidis. And in lane number 8 for Turkey, Dera Kuncu.
Accelerate into the big back somersault over the bar. And again.
First major championship. The whole giant must do something a little better here. Oh, he's done it again. Can you believe it? He's having a torrid time.
Of course, these days, the Olympics, like so many other sporting occasions, take place in a world much changed since the halcyon, honeyed days of the Wogan boyhood. Days spent playing football in steel-cap boots, heading leather balls whose laces sliced your head open. But then, things were so different in that dim and distant era before the Boer War. I don't write this stuff, you know. These days, almost any sport you care to mention, and some you'd really rather not, are multi-million-pound industries with sponsors shelling out millions for a stamp-sized section of Michael Schumacher's left shin. But what if you don't have an advertising budget of millions?
Hello. Want to sell your product? Then why not come to our advertising agency? ZZ Bartle Hegarty Pew Pew Balmy Glue Comfortable and